All right.
So we're going to get a little bit of water straight off this ice.
All right.
And then we'll make the Catkins tea with that as well. Do you want to fill that up?
I'll go get the water.
Okay, and I'll get this
All
one.
right.
We'll
This
get
log's
off.
about
Let's
tipping over a little bit.
Would you ever get Michelle camping?
You know, Michelle tends not to be an outdoor girl.
Yeah.
She loves hiking, and she's in great shape.
Yeah.
But when night falls, I think she's ready for some nice sheets.
Yeah, yeah. So about that, that's great.
But she loves being outside.
So when you first moved to the White House,
Yeah.
how do you do president and dad? I mean...
You know, the interesting thing is actually I ended up getting more time with the kids as president because I live above the store, right? So at a certain point, let's say 6:30 at night, I can go upstairs, I can have dinner with them, and if I have to go back to work, I can. And so, you know, being able to have dinner with them every night was something that I could enjoy more than I did before I was president. And that tradition has not changed.
Really? That's incredible.
Yeah, which has been great. Now,
and that's such a statement for family first.
Well, it's actually my joy, my pleasure, because if I've had a day full of world nonsense, for me to be able to come home and just listen to the girls and let them tell me about their day, it gives me a whole new perspective and renews me.
It's so heartening to think that the leader of the free world, ultimately, he's a dad. Okay, lunch, here we go.
All right, what do we got?
Well, Alaska is a land of bear and salmon. We haven't got bear.
Oh, look at this.
But...
Look at this.
And now this is for real. I found this on the riverbank, okay? So don't freak out too much. I think the president looked a little surprised when I pulled out this sort of bloody carcass of half-eaten salmon. This was half-eaten by a bear.
Now, why wouldn't the bear finish this sucker?
Well, because...
This looks like a nice-looking piece of fish.
Yeah, but what, if you notice, what they've had is all the high-fat content, the eggs, bit of the skin. They'll often take the brain as well. And if there's a lot of fish in the river, they'll leave the meat because they want that high-density, calorific value fat.
Interesting. So a bear has chewed on this sucker.
Yeah, but we're going to cook it up, so it's going to be good.
All right. I've seen some of the things bear eats. I think a piece of salmon, that'll work just fine. Oh, I heard a little sizzle there.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah. The fact that he told me that this was a leftover fish from a bear, I don't know if that was necessary. He could have just left that out.
Yeah, that's that. Have you ever got lost in the White House?
No.
But it's huge. What about the girls when they were young, when they first went there?
You know, they found some good hiding places. It's a great place to do hide and seek.
The best.
But, you know, the truth is the White House's grounds are not that big. Because it's an old capitol, it doesn't have some of the grandiosity and scale. And I think it partly reflects American democracy. I think there was a sense that the White House shouldn't be too ostentatious.
Yeah.
And before 9/11, you used to be able to walk right up and people were driving right in front of the White House. Now, now the roads have been blocked off, but I remember when I was a young man, the first time I visited, you could walk right up to the gate and look right through, and there'd be traffic behind you.
And do you remember doing that at a young age?
I think the first time I visited, I was 21.
And that made a big impact?
I can't say that I imagined I'd be looking out from the other side of the window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Life's weird, isn't it?
It is. You don't expect a kid of a single mom, born in Hawaii, named Barack Obama to end up being president. That's not something you generally bet on.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
You seem to push through so many things that you believe in. What have you learned about getting things done that are really on your heart?
Persistence. I'm a big believer in persistence. They've done studies of kids growing up in important neighborhoods or war-torn regions of the world, and the kids who survive it and thrive, it's not necessarily the smartest kid. It's not necessarily the strongest kid. It's the most resilient kid. And I think that's true in just about every circumstance. A lot of stuff that you try is not going to work, but if you stay determined, typically you can make real progress. And you have to have something of an even keel so that you don't get too high and you don't get too low in order to stay determined. You know, one of the things that I try to tell my daughters is don't believe the hype when things are going good, and don't despair when things are going bad.
Yeah. It's funny. Kids are such a good foil, aren't they, to remind us of those sort of values, you know, because we all have days where we feel a bit beaten up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that your girls must be such a huge encouragement to you.
They are wonderful. Nobody can make me happier or make me feel more stupid.
Yeah. Join the club.
Yeah,
3
but-
boys, I get the same.
But you know what? Your goal is to make sure that your kids are a little smarter than you are.
Yeah.
You know, you're constantly improving the gene pool. You marry good women, and you know they'll do a little better than you do. When you were growing up, did you know that you wanted to spend this much time outdoors? Was this just sort of in the DNA and the environment and how you grew up?
Well, my dad was a commando and a climber, and at a young age, all I wanted to do was hang out with him,
Right.
climb together, be together. And as a young kid, it was the only thing I was good at. I was always the kid that climbed the highest tree, up the buildings.
Yeah.
And, you know, somebody said to me, age 7, that I could have a job that involved climbing up stuff, getting muddy, being outside, doing this sort of stuff. I would have thought I was the luckiest man in the world, you know. So I've always tried to pursue what I love and what I'm okay at naturally.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'd just be super lucky. I had a great team around me and stuff, and I would never have thought I'd be doing this. I'm with the President of the United States. The whole thing is totally mad. And I'm cooking for him, and I'm the worst cook in the world.
No, but I tell you, the salmon's starting to look pretty good.
Should you try a little bit of this?
Yeah, let's try that.
Okay.
Come on,
That will be
get
good.
a little sample. That's tasty.
Can still smell the bear breath on it.
I tell you what, though, that's good.
Good, well, it's fresh. That's proper Alaskan salmon for you.
Bear's a mediocre cook, but the fact that we ate something recognizable was encouraging. It would have been nice if we had had a cracker to go with it, but that's all right. Those things are hard to pack.
Do you have a faith that's important in your life?
Absolutely. I think it was my favorite president, President Lincoln, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he said, if you weren't a religious man before you took office, you will be humbled and on your knees and praying to God for some help.
Yeah, that's it. It's like I love that quote that says, there's no such thing as an atheist in the Southern Ocean.
That's exactly right.
Or on the death zone on Everest, you know?
And that, too, is, I think, part of determination and resilience. But that also is what keeps an even keel.
Yeah. And what do you kind of want to be the legacy? If you had to pick one thing as the legacy of your presidency?
Well, you know, we've provided health care to millions of people who didn't have it. We repaired an economy that was globally on the brink of a Great Depression. But this climate change agenda is as important as anything I'm going to do. I think it will have